back here at Titchmarsh today. My first time back here since May the 14th. I wanted to grab a few hours out and about before the wind and rain arrives midweek. As I leave the car park, I see quite a large flock of geese feeding on the stubble. It's a mixed flock of Canada and grey lag. As I crossed the bridge, I thought at first glance that this bird was a kestrel, but it's merely a lowly wood pigeon. At a distance, they really can look like so many other species of bird. It's a beautiful English pastoral scene, with sheep grazing. I stand on the bank, at the spot where Harper's Brook meets Brancy Brook, and tiny eddies and currents disturb the water. Back in May, the hawthorns were heavy with blossom, but now sport small red berries. I continue on along the banks of the brook. It really is a beautiful day, much better than the forecast. "10 minutes or so spent in the North Hyde reveals all the usual suspects, namely mute swan close to the shore, a few cormorant and quite a substantial flock of grey lag geese. I reach the River Nen and the riverside walk, one of the most beautiful parts of the reserve. It's dry at the moment, but during the winter time certain parts will often flood. But today the river flows slowly and the water is beautifully calm. A bubble rises to the surface, evidence of a fish unseen below, and all along the river's edge are sunlit gossamer webs. Further along the river I see more mute swan, a common bird, yes, but so photogenic. I continue my walk along the riverside. As I walk along, I can still hear chiff-chaff, but they remain hidden from my camera. I also hear the loud, vibrant calls of wren and robin, but they also remain hidden in the still thick foliage. On the far side of the river, I watch a handsome Dalmatian, out for its morning walk. It waits patiently in the autumn sunshine for its owner. And then some more wildlife to film. The reserve isn't actually teeming with life this morning, but here's a male migrant hawker dragonfly, taking in the sun's warmth. I carry on along the river path, hoping to pay a visit to the South Hyde, but the notice on the gate informs me that the Hyde is temporarily closed due to vandalism, which this beautiful little reserve suffers more than its fair share of. I really can't, nor want, to understand that kind of behaviour. On reaching the part of the Nen Way that passes the trout fishery lake, I hear birds calling. It's a pair of young Great Crested Grebes with the two parent birds. Although they're fairly well grown, they're still calling for food. When they're very small, you can often see them travelling on the parent's back. I managed to catch a fleeting glimpse of one of the adult birds feeding one of the chicks, but they're almost adult size now and should soon be fending for themselves. The adults constantly dive under the water, followed closely by the youngsters. It seems as though the parent birds are encouraging the youngsters to fish for themselves, but they constantly call, asking the parent birds for food. Young Great Crested Grebes will stay with their parents for quite a long time, around 70 to 80 days after hatching. Even at this size, young birds are distinguishable from the adults by the stripes on the side of their heads. Great Crested Grebes are now not threatened and have a green status, but at one point were almost hunted to extinction for the beautiful head plumes that they have during the breeding season. The feathers were taken to adorn the hats of well-to-do Victorian ladies. I've enjoyed watching and filming the grebe family, but now it's time to move on. As I pass the end of the fishing lake, it really is a busy day, and there are a lot of fishermen out there. I pass the Dexter cattle grazing in the meadow, and I'm starting to feel the heat a little. The weather forecast said sunny but chilly, and I dressed for that. As I cross the bridge once again, I'm lulled by the sound of the cool, clear waters of Harper's Brook. I take off my coat, take out a welcome drink from my rucksack, and then it's back to my car for the 15-minute drive to home. Not too much wildlife about today, but I hope you enjoyed the film. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.